Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya for round 6, race number 1 of TCR Europe in 2025. This is the weekend where we will crown a brand new champion in TCR Europe at the conclusion of what has been, quite frankly, a sensational season of motor racing here. Touring cars, I often say, are the best form of racing in the whole wide world. I've got a sneaking suspicion our TCR Europe cohort will prove me correct. As you can see on track, it is 64% humidity and air temperature of a relatively cool 19.2 degrees centigrade. The air temperature for this part of the world might be relatively cool, but the pressure and the temperature on the grid is exceedingly high. This is what everybody has been waiting for, not least of which you good people at home and us here in the team. We're going to crown a champion. We've had a mixed-up qualification. We'll get into that one in a little while. But let's have a quick look at exactly what's in store for us over the course of this race. As mentioned, it's round 6, race number 1 of 2. We're back in action again tomorrow, and we're racing once again at the beautiful, the gorgeous Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, the 7th time visited this wonderful venue, and the reason we're here is to scroll another name onto that list of our former champions in TCR Europe. The name is in the name. It's Europe. We've travelled all over at some beautiful circuits. We started all the way back in April at the Portimão track before heading to the legendary Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Hockenheim in the rain produced some incredible racing, and Misano in the night was sensational. Red Bull Ring, last time out, had more than its fair share of controversy. And I think, I'm sure you will all agree, the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya has a lot to live up to after we have had probably one of the most dramatic seasons of TCR Europe, certainly in recent memory. A final chapter, though, is still to be written, a final opportunity for our drivers to put their name down in the history books. Just 2 races separate us from the end of what has been a short but very enjoyable campaign indeed. And I'm sure you'll agree, this track is a perfect place to end things. 14 turns, 6 to the left, 8 to the right, 4.657 kilometres in distance, or 2.894 miles, depending on your favour. And the lap record is currently held by Kobe Powell's, 1 minute 50.643. Right. Enough of all that one. I've set the scene for you, and now I do have a colleague down there on the grid waiting to find out all the information. It is, of course, our very own Mr. Neil Cole. In a few moments, we'll hand over to Neil. He's going to see who he can find. In fact, speak of the devil, I believe he's ready. So, Mr. Neil Cole, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Paul. Beautifully set up, and I can tell you that down here on the grid, there is a sort of palpable tension. It's a very different vibe from qualifying this morning. Also, very different conditions. The track temperature is about 32 degrees, so much warmer than earlier. And we have Ruben Volt on the front row, an all-Honda front row here. We were hearing before the race that Marco Butti may still have a problem, so we'll come to that in a minute. I'll try and speak to some drivers in a moment, but we've got a very special guest here. We have Spanish tennis legend Sergi Burguera. Sergi, it's great to see you here. 2-time Roland Garros French Open winner, Spanish Davis Cup captain. This weekend is a championship weekend for these young guys. What's the championship mentality? How do you switch into championship mode?
Well, I think for me, sometimes the most difficult part is how to prepare at the beginning, because there's a lot of tension, a lot of nerves before the race, and then once you start, then you're only focused on the race, and then the first lap, you're already into the race. But before, to manage this tension is for me was difficult before the match, even more than the match itself.
Really, just the moments before stepping onto the clay.
Yes, maybe if you're serving for the match or one precise moment of the match, but at the beginning to manage these things, especially in how to approach and how to start, this was difficult to manage.
It's great to see you here at Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, and I know that you've raced in the 24-hour race here twice, I think?
Twice, yeah. It was an unbelievable experience. I was in the same team as Jordi Arcarons, and then it was an unbelievable experience. I have to race 2 times 6 to 8. That when the race was coming out, it was so difficult, but it was impressive. And was the adrenaline, I think, is one of the top things that the adrenaline can go here.
Superb. Well, enjoy the racing today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, serious. Gracias. So we quickly got some time. The racing goes live at past. So let's see if we can grab a quick word with our pole sitter, Ruben Volt. Now, remember, when we started the day, we had 12 drivers in contention for the championship. Now we have 10. Ruben, when I spoke to you after qualifying, you said it was supreme confidence that got you pole position. Are you still so confident?
Yeah, I mean, if we have pace in qualifying, why shouldn't we have pace in the race? So I'm more quite sure that we have the pace to win today. So yeah, I will try to capitalize on that.
And racing at a big Grand Prix circuit like this, give us a sense of how you dial in the different types of corners and the long straight.
I mean, I have a lot of experience at this track, so that helps a lot. So yeah, but I don't have problems of like studying corners, and especially as we were in Austria, I was fast, but I was just unlucky.
Well, be lucky today. Good luck, Ruben. So I think he's getting the thumbs up from his engineer. I don't know how long we've got, so I'll see if I can sneakily try and get in another interview. Let's see if I can speak to... Have I got time? There's a big hooter. There we go. He's opening the window for me. Electric windows on a Cupra. So quickly, Jensen, this... You've got a very good view, very good position on the grid, and suddenly you're really properly in contention for the title. So what's the strategy?
Hopefully the strategy is go forward. I mean, yeah, I'm going to do my thing, try and get a good start, and we see after lap one. Hopefully we can make a couple of positions up, and yeah, we just want to be there or thereabouts for tomorrow. And I think this morning's qualifying put ourselves in a good position straight away. We're the top of the title contenders on the grid, so yeah, we just got to try and move forward from here.
Okay, well, we'll watch you moving forwards. Good luck, Jensen. So there we go. I think I'm being officially kicked off the grid. So let's get ready. Race 1 here in Spain for the final round of the TCR Europe. Watch out, Seb. Back to you, Paul, for commentary.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Thank you very much, Neil Cole, down there on the grid, trying to get all the insight ahead of what should be a very exciting race indeed. As we've mentioned, Jensen Brickley said it himself on the grid, starting on position number 4, row number 2. Jensen is the lead driver of the championship contenders coming into this one. Perhaps, maybe unexpected slightly. In fact, speak the devil, here is the starting grid. Let's talk through who is where there. So Ruben Volt starts on pole position. Alongside him is Felipe Fernandez. It's going to be interesting to see what Fernandez can do off the line. 2 Hondas on the front row of the grid. Starting up in 3rd position, another deeply impressive qualifier for Jacobo Chimenez. He's got Jensen Brickley for company. Brickley, the lead of the championship contenders. Moving down onto the 3rd row of the grid, Eric Genet, by the skin of his teeth, made it into qualification. He'll start 5th. Jimmy Claret alongside in position number 6. On row 4 in 7th place is Jindui Park. Have a new livery this weekend. Solar Indigo Racing driver looking for a good result. Rene Kirscher alongside. Great performance for Rene, starting in 8th position for ALM Motorsports. 9th place goes the way of Teddy Claret, and 10th position is Johnson Park. In 11th place, we have got Gabriele Corvini. Alongside him is Victor Anderson, going down to 13th position, excuse me. Max Hart will be alongside Nico Baldan. Target competition, Icoa Racing, respectively. Row number 8 is made up of Victor Fernandez. Fantastic qualification for Victor, 15th place. Alongside him, the 111 of Marco Butti. Lots of problems for Marco in qualification. It's going to be a big ask from 16th. Row number 9 goes the way of our debutant Sam Laidlaw in the Area Motorsports Cupra. Giacomo Gamandi is alongside in the MM Motorsports Honda Civic. 19th position will go the way of Raphael Fournier. Another decent position there for the JSB competition driver. Nick Taylor, struggling for pace for PMM Motorsports, only lines up in 20th position. Steve Laidlaw is 21st. Sandro Palatti alongside in 22nd. The PMM Motorsports Audi driver having another good session. The 12th row of the grid is Giacomo Prandelli, another new name to the championship, alongside Canadian driver making his debut in TCR Europe, will line up in 24th place. 25th position, courtesy of a 10th place grid penalty, goes Filippo Barberi, and lining up 26th and final place on the grid is Julien Brichet, the Frenchman, for JSB competition. That's the 26 drivers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the beautiful circuit you see on your screen. In a few moments' time, green flags will be waved, cars, engines will get loud, and lots of drama will ensue. I don't know about you, but I've been looking forward to this moment all season long. It's going to be an absolute classic, I am sure. A beautiful venue, lovely weather, a great grid of cars, some new drivers, some existing former superstars of touring car, and then the next generation lining up alongside them, chomping at the heels to become not just the but and now. One formation lap, of course, to the grid for the TCR Europe drivers. Opportunity to warm the tyres and the brakes. One final chance to check everything is exactly as it needs to be. And then the green flag will wave and we'll go motor racing. 25 minutes plus a singular lap. Of course, for this one, if we do have a safety car intervention, we can extend that by a couple of further laps to get our racing action underway. Let's hope we don't need to worry about that one, though. Let's hope that this is purely a pure motor race to the checkered flag. And with Ruben vaulting, deeply impressive form, it has to be said. I mean, qualification, 5 tenths, just over from Felipe Fernandez. And Ruben said to me just before dinner earlier today, I think I left 3 tenths on the table as well. That's how quick he is. After qualifying, by the way, if you've not checked on social media, this is the latest state of play in the championship. Eric Genet has a 2-point lead over Marco Butti. Unbelievably tight at the head of the pack. 9 further back is Jenson Brickley, joint in points with Teddy Claret. 21 points back is brother Jimmy in 5th position. And then we get into the mathematically possible but slightly more difficult realms with Max Hart in 6th, 41 in arrears. Nico Baldan a further 2 back. And then Felipe Fernandez, 49 back, starting in position number 2. He has himself an opportunity. 10 drivers come into this race with a mathematical chance of taking the title. It's very unlikely it'll be secured today, but it definitely will see the winds of opportunity blowing in one or other directions. By the way, we've also got the Youth Best Trophy, which is currently being contested by Eric Genet, Jenson Brickley and Marco Butti. They're the 3 drivers, the remaining contention for that one for drivers 21 and under at the time of free practice 1 on the first race of the season. We'll keep our eye on that one if we can as this race progresses, but of course absolutely all eyes have to be trained on the very, very front of the field to see who's going to take the advantage coming into the final race of the weekend tomorrow morning. Ruben Vault then leads the field into his place on pole position. It's feast or famine a little bit this season for Ruben, isn't it, when it comes to race starts? It's either the best start you've ever seen or an absolute nightmare for the Estonian driver. Let's hope for his sake it is the former and not the latter in a couple of moments' time. Last few cars making their way around. It's wonderful, isn't it, to have such a large field? It takes such a while for the cars to line up on the grid. There is Nico Baldan, car number 8, the experienced Italian driver. Nico Baldan, he'll be starting this one a little bit further down in 14th than perhaps he would like. Max Hart for company, though. Max should be charging forward, one would expect. As the race progresses, there are the final few cars at the back of his shot. Filippo Barberi had an engine change during practice, hence the reason he's all the way down there, qualified in 22nd position. We're starting, though, unfortunately for him, in 25th, having received that penalisation for the engine change. The calm before the storm. A hush descends upon the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. Out to go motor racing. The lights are on. The lights are off, and we are away for round 6, race number 1 of TCR Europe in 2025. Yellow flags wave halfway down the pack. Oh, big contact. Big contact. That is a stalled car. Jacobo Chimenez. Big contact behind as well. Several drivers involved off of the line. We don't like to see that one at the front of the field. It's irrelevant. We're going to be going under safety car or even red flag conditions, I would imagine. Big contact, scary contact on the start of the race. I'm looking out of my commentary box window to see if everybody's out of the car. I see a few drivers getting out at the moment as the racing is under safety car conditions. There we go, yellow flag waves. It'll be up to Ruben Vault to slow the field down before the safety car picks them up. But that was not nice to see off of the start of the line, I must admit. There we go, we can still see a little bit of racing speed from our drivers, but they'll soon recognise that we're under full course caution or safety car conditions. In fact, there is Marco Butti almost going off the racetrack under safety car. That's not ideal. It's been an absolute nightmare weekend for Marco. Mechanical issues with the car through the 2 practice sessions yesterday. Couldn't get the car out till just under 7 minutes to go in qualification, and when he did, the pace just wasn't there for Marco Butti. He came into the weekend as a joint championship leader with Eric Genet, remember, on 170 points. Marco's got a P16 start for both races in this one, so it's going to be a tremendous ask. In fact, to be honest, it was unsure if Marco would even make the grid for this one. Wasn't quite sure if the car was fully fixed. Let's collectively keep our fingers crossed for Marco Butti that that car can run all the way to the checkered flag without drama, give the young Italian the best opportunity possible to snatch the points that he needs for his own championship challenge. But for Marco Butti, it has definitely not been a weekend to remember when he was hoping to be crowned champion. Little update, by the way, on the accident. I'm still looking out my window and can't quite see exactly if everybody's out of the car or not yet. We'll update you on that one. Of course, the safety car will go through pit lane to avoid the debris, the risk of punctures as well, and to allow the extraction teams to do the work and the marshals to do the work they need to do to, first and foremost, most importantly, ensure that everything is okay. In fact, actually, I'm just hearing from my colleague Neil Cole down on pit lane that all drivers are out of their cars now, which is absolutely fantastic to hear. I'm delighted to hear that one. Safety is incredible in TCR cars. We saw it last time round, didn't we, at the Red Bull Ring. Another really big accident there, but the safety of these cars is fantastic, and that's all that matters in situations like this, that everybody gets out okay and everybody can go about their business and do what we need to do. We'll spend some time in a little while unpicking exactly who's missing and who is, I'm sure I saw one of the Laidlaw cars there, Raphael Fournier as well, potentially. So again, I'm hearing from Neil in my ear that it's Jacopo Chimenez, Victor Fernandez and Raphael Fournier that are involved in that one. So I believe it could have been, may have been Chimenez stationary on the grid that caused the incident. But there we go, I can see Laidlaw as well involved in that one. Oh, both of them, Steve and Sam. That is a real shame. The Area Motorsports team making a debut in TCR Europe this weekend. Absolutely loving life in TCR Europe. Just 2 years ago, just a couple of years ago, they were in club level racing. Right, let's have a look then. We know that all drivers are out the car, so let's take a look. There it is, Jacopo Chimenez from P3 stalls the car. Max Hart just about avoids it. Victor Fernandez, oh, that is a big collision. Fournier, the secondary contact there as well. Don't quite see how the Laidlaws got involved in that one. Let's have a look from a different view. So there is our pole sitter Ruben Vol. Hidden behind us is the stationary Jacopo Chimenez. There we go, that's the contact he made. There is Victor Fernandez to the left-hand side of your screen. Oh dear, oh dear. 2 contacts to the Cupras as well into each other. That's really disappointing to see, and there is a very sad sight indeed. Everybody's out of the car though, as mentioned. That's the singular most important thing. Steve and Sam out of the car as well. Not the start of the weekend that they were hoping for. Safety car is still on track, by the way, of course. Ruben Vold is still our race leader, and just as I say that one, as predicted, red flag waves, everything comes to a halt with 20 minutes and 21 seconds on the clock. And we'll take a moment to have a bit of a breath, have a bit of a breather. Get ready, Neil, you're going to be busy, I think, in the next few minutes, catching up with as many people as possible. But yep, there is confirmation. Red flag has been waved. Everything has been brought to a halt. Ruben Volt, according to my live time, Eric Genet is up there in second position. Yes, he is. There we go. There is Eric. Wow. That worked out well, didn't it, for Eric? Felipe Fernandez third. Jensen Brickley there in fourth. And it's Jimmy and Teddy Clare just behind in fifth and sixth positions. Well, not the start to championship weekend that we were hoping for, I think it's fair to say, for all and sundry. But that is very scary time. Right then, let's have another look again. There is the Motorsports Honda. Stalled off of the line. Did well, everybody. In fact, Victor, very last minute, recognises contact between the two. Raphael Fournier, bless him, absolutely nowhere to go. Slams the anchors on, can't get the JSB competition. Hyundai Elantra stopped in time, and secondary contact for Victor Fernandez on that one as well. Fernandez, having been crowned Diamond Trophy champion last time around, as having quite the bounce back to earth. And there is Stephen Sam laid low to the left-hand side as well. Contact between the two of them. Sam in the wall. Steve, his father, secondary contact too. Lots and lots of damaged cars. Lots and lots of bruised egos, I dare say, as well. And a bit of a delay for us all. Well, we unpick that one. The Marshals, the Orange Army, here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, just as they are all around the world, do absolutely exceptional work. We couldn't go motor racing if it wasn't for Marshal teams. They are the singular most important people in any given race weekend. And as always, a massive thank you to everybody here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya and to Marshals all around the world for the work you do. We are indebted to you all, and I'm sure they'll do a great job of getting these cars cleared as quickly as possible, and hopefully we'll be able to go motor racing again in the non-too-distant future. Right, I think I am hearing in my ear that possibly we have Neil down on pit lane, who's got somebody to have a quick chat to. So let's head down to Neil Cole.
Ready for when it goes green flag again. Marco Butti actually came straight in before the safety car, and a quite severe front right puncture by the looks of things. And now the team are frantically trying to fix something under the car which may have snapped. Marco is out of the car, so an update on when we came into today, our joint championship leader, second in the championship, Marco Butti, looks like he may have broken something in the front right of the car. They may be able to use this red flag period to try and get it fixed. They're certainly doing their best, but all I can report is that there is a very second-hand looking wheel off the car and no front right wheel on the car. I might try and grab a quick word with Marco. Can you tell us what happened, Marco?
But for sure a big crash in the standing start, because I can see that, and I don't know, later on something hit my front rear tire. I don't know, at the time in that weekend is very difficult for me because I didn't touch anyone, but I have a big problem on my front axle. Let's see, now we have another time, a red flag like in Austria. Maybe we can restart the race, and let's see, maybe it's the correct one, the lucky one for me, I don't know.
Well, I hope you have enough time to get it fixed. Good luck.
Yeah, I think we can fix, no problem.
So that's Marco Butti there, just telling us that their car, this red flag could be enough time to get his Honda back on the road.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much, Neil. Real sad news there for Marco Butti. Unfortunately, more dramas, more misfortune befalls the Italian driver, but hopefully, as mentioned, they can get the MM Motorsports Honda Civic Type R FL5 back up and running again quickly enough that we can go racing, he can get out on track and have an opportunity to try and recover some of this lost advantage that he had coming into the weekend. We can see already Victor Fernandez's car on the back of the low loader looking distinctly second-hand on the front. So great work from the Marshals, massively quick work, in fact, from the Marshals to get this racetrack cleared. And that is pretty much the final car, I believe, currently on the racetrack. So, bravo. Very well done indeed to the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya Marshal team. Well. The question is now, what does this mean when we get back under racing conditions again? Ruben Volt, having got away from the line very nicely indeed to cement his pole position into an early race lead, he's going to have to lead the field round, take the pressure of a safety car restart. Not necessarily the easiest thing around Barcelona. There is ample opportunity to make mistakes under restart conditions. So the pressure will be high for Ruben Volt. And as the audience, I love Mum. Lovely T-shirt, that one. I wonder who bought that. Any chance? Fabulous stuff, though. The crowd starting to build here in Barcelona in anticipation for what should be a very entertaining race when we get back under green flag conditions, at least. So then, quick rundown of the order under these red flag conditions. As mentioned, it's biggest mover and shaker at the start, Eric Genet. Fabulous start from the young Spanish driver, one of our primary championship contenders. In fact, the man that comes in to this one with a 2-point advantage, started 5th, worked his way up into P2. Very nicely done for the Monlau Motorsport Cupra driver. In fact, let's go and have a quick word again with Neil, who's found Raphael Fournier.
Raphael, that looked like a pretty scary incident. I'm not sure how much you were aware of what was happening, but tell us what happened as far as you're concerned.
Well, when I did my start, I wasn't really confident because I know it's my third start only on standing start. So I tried to look forward as always, and I just pretty didn't see it coming. I saw Victor just head on the back of another car, and I just couldn't switch lanes. So that's what happened. It's race, but hope I'll be here on race 2.
And from as far as you're concerned, it was just because there was a car stopped and it wasn't possible for everyone to react in time.
Yeah, it's pretty hard on these conditions when there's a standing car. So sometimes we can't go past it. So, well, it's my case also. I did brake, but not enough.
Physically, you're okay?
Physically, I'm okay.
That's the most important thing. See you tomorrow for the race.
Very disappointed, Raphael Fournier. You can see the disappointment in his eyes there, couldn't you? It's not the way that anybody wants to finish a motor race, but hopefully for driver and team, they can get that car back up and running again and come motor racing with us tomorrow. Right then, well, we've got a bit of a pause in proceedings. Should we take a look at the championship standings once again? So this is the state of play coming into this first race of 2 this weekend. 2 points are the advantage between Eric Genet and Marco Butte. As we've already heard, Marco in strife all weekend, suffering in the race as well with some kind of damage to the front of his car. Hopefully they'll get that repaired, but he's way down the running order. It's going to be a tall ask for Marco Butte to stay in championship contention. Realistically speaking, Jenson Brickley is the next of those in the firing line to challenge teammate Eric Genet. Jenson currently 4th position in the race positions, just behind his Spanish teammate. Teddy Claret, Jimmy Claret. Decent pace in qualification. They were worried a little bit if they could carry that pace forward into the race. As things stand, Teddy, joint 3rd position in the standings, 163, 9 adrift of Eric Genet. Teddy's currently 6th in this race, just behind brother Jimmy in 5th. Both drivers still in the conversation for sure, but the big question is, do they have the pace in order to get things running and start to challenge the Monlau Motorsports pair in front of them? Max Hart, he was loosely involved in the incident, managed to navigate his way around the stranded car of Jacobo Jimenez. Max is currently in 10th position, so he's made a singular place up off of the line. That target competition machine not looking particularly full of pace, shall we say, over the course of this weekend. So for Max, yes, he's in a strong place on the track, but does he have the pace? That's a big question that we need to ask to challenge those drivers ahead of him.
Clear of cars and almost entirely clear of debris. So I'm
now hearing from Neil, I'm not sure if he caught that on the live, but the track is now clear of cars and almost entirely clear of any kind of clearance that needs to be done for us to go racing again. So hopefully it won't be too long until we can bring everybody back out on the racetrack and we can go about the serious business of getting loud, getting excitable and going motor racing. So there are your championship standings then, folks. Don't spend too much time studying them because they're all going to change at the conclusion of this one. And I dare say, with some drivers well and truly out of position, they're going to change quite dramatically as well. Who would have thought that this final weekend of the season will kick up so much drama? So you've never quite known where to stand in TCR Europe in 2025. Claret Sport came off the boards in Portimão, absolutely on fire. They were the dominant force of the championship. Everybody else was scrabbling behind them, and then the momentum shifted. Then the progression changed. Monlau Motorsport came to the front. Motorsport and Marco Butte started to show their turn of pace as well. Several drivers have had their chance at the head of the pack. But coming into this final weekend now, we are whittling it down very rapidly indeed to the final few who can potentially take the crown from our very own Franco Girolami and become our latest TCR Europe champion. Good news, folks. Just heard there's 5 minutes to go until the restart procedure can begin, so it shouldn't be very long indeed until we go motor racing. It will be Ruben Volt, Eric Genet Felipe Fernandez, Jenson Brickley, Jimmy and Teddy Clary. Janui Park, Johnson Park, Victor Anderson, Max Hart, Rennie Kirscher, and potentially lots of drama still to come. Absolutely love drama. Not quite the drama that we've seen so far, of course, but I'm sure we'll make up for it when we get racing. 20 minutes, 21 seconds left on the clock. When that one starts ticking, the red flag disappears. We can go motor racing once again. The Cupra safety car in position. Board being waved in pit lane to let everybody know we can get ready to go racing. I've just heard from Neil Cole, a front right wheel. There we go, perfectly in time. There is shots of the 111 down on pit lane. So thankfully for Marco and MM Motorsports, at least, it does look like that Honda Civic will be taking the restart for this race. Currently, potentially, he should be taking the restart from position number 11. I'll have to confirm that one. I'm not entirely sure if that is accurate, but it does look that way. And if it does, then that'll be reasonably. I think he's coming to this weekend confident that he can take a championship, confident in his pace, in himself, in his car. And it's just everything has transpired against the Italian. It seems it's going to be a bit of a phoenix rising from the flames if Marco Butti can pull this one off. Let's hope, though, the car needs to be all pointing straight to start with before we can even consider that one. And last few adjustments being made. I'm sure there's a bit of gaffer tape in there as well, sticking things together, always works. But Marco, on the back foot, it has to be said, in the most extreme of ways. Right, restart order has been confirmed, so Marco will be restarting from position 12, if, and that is a big word, Murray Walker once said, if is F1 spelt backwards, but if they can get this MM Motorsports Honda Civic on the track, then Marco Butti will be a strong position he'll find himself in, I'm absolutely sure. Doesn't quite look like things are all tickety-boo, as they say, on that Honda Civic at the moment. Still work being undertaken. We're only a couple of minutes away from 3-minute board has been waved 15:46 local time. So it's only a couple of moments then, and we will be going. In fact, excuse me, I'm just hearing in my ears now, there's a correction. Marco Butti has been moved to the back of the field should he make the start of this race. So obviously didn't quite break the timing sectors that he needed to before the red flag was called. We saw him in strife, didn't we, on the track, running a little bit deep and struggling on the outside of the racing line with some kind of delamination or some kind of issue on the vehicle. And sadly for Marco, he's going to bump himself all the way back down into 21st place, which frankly isn't a million miles away from where he qualified. So the task is still hard, just being made ever so slightly more challenging for Marco Butti. Only a few minutes to go then, folks, or a few moments to go, should I say, before we can get things back underway again. Mechanics have stopped working underneath the car, so that's always a positive sign. Thumbs up, universal sign, doesn't matter what language you speak, thumbs up means the same thing in all languages. Everything good to go. Translated roughly in best of luck. Let's hope we can make it to the checkered flag in a competitive fashion. 15-second board up in the air, hip hip hooray. There we go. The chorus of TCR touring car engines rises in our ears. In a few moments' time, our Cupra safety car will lead the field around, and we'll go motor racing again. It'll be up to Ruben Volt at the head of the pack to lead the field once the safety car peels in. And then we will be in a go position once again. So the clock has begun, 20 minutes and 3 seconds. The countdown has started. The safety car will peel in at the conclusion of this lap. And then we'll go racing once again. Eric Genet has got to be the big winner from that start, hasn't he? If we didn't catch qualifying earlier today, of course, you can catch it on demand, TCR TV on YouTube and as well. Eric Genet had a nightmare in qualifying. Track limits were very much an issue. Several laps deleted. He managed to get a lap in at the very death to get through into Q2. And then once in Q2, he managed to secure a 5th place on the grid, which I think you could argue is lower than the natural pace in the car and driver, but being a little bit conservative, make sure they get the time on the board. And up in a 2nd place, Ruben Volt's got a lot of work to do. Eric Genet behind. Now, how focused will Eric be on championship permutations? How keen will he be to bag the points and not really worry about the victory? It's very easy in the commentary box, isn't it, to sit here and say, take those points for second, take a comfortable championship lead. But Eric, he likes to win. Comes from a family of winners, of course. Father is legendary touring car driver Jordi Genet. His uncle being also very, very, very successful indeed in the world of sports cars and Grand Prix racing. So this is a family that knows how to win. Eric Genet is a driver that is hungry for success. Will that hunger be tempered somewhat by a potential championship? Or will he want to take the win in front of his friends and family and guests here? A victory and 30 points would certainly help his championship charge. But as things stand, his nearest rivals are 4th, 5th and 6th. Teammate Jenson Brickley, Jimmy and Teddy Clary respectively. So this is a positive change in the scenario for Eric Genet, looking for 25 points for second position. That'll give him 5 over teammate Jenson Brickley to extend his championship charge. Really no point in me going through this because there's 18 minutes, it's a touring car race. So everything that you see on your screen will mean nothing in about 3 minutes when we go racing. It is an almost certain guarantee. In fact, the safety car is going to do another lap just to show the drivers the start-finish straight, just to show them the tarmac and how everything is now following the conclusion of the accident. Make sure there's no debris, make sure there's no potential risk or punctures when hitting that particular part of the track at racing speed. Obviously the start-finish straight here down into turn number 1. We're at maximum velocity in a TCR touring car, and you don't want to find any nasty surprises, do you, when you're flat chat and looking to hit the middle pedal, drop it down in the 3rd gear and throw it into the first section of corners here at Barcelona. So good safety first approach there from race control. At the end of this one, the safety car will peel in, say goodbye, and it's all down to the young man at the head of the pack. He said to Neil on the grid, I'm fast in qualifying, why can't that translate into the race? Well, not quite as simple as that one, but the logic very much holds firm. Ruben Volt is highly confident, shall we say, of the package underneath him. It's going to be difficult for Eric Genet to get in terms. The big question is, can Jenson Brickley do anything about Felipe Fernandez? And if he does, can he bring Jimmy and Teddy into play as well? Not comfortable for Jenson Brickley at all at this point in time. There is the lovely Cupra safety car. Had the pleasure of driving that thing around Spa-Francorchamps a few months ago. If you missed that one, check it out on YouTube, TCR TV, for TCR Unboxed. It's our behind-the-scenes programme that we launch at the conclusion of each race meeting. Of course, in the next week or so, our latest and final episode of the season will be released. So do give us a check out on TCR TV on YouTube as we try and take you behind the scenes of the world of TCR Europe and all things that happen in this incredible touring car championship. The lights are off then on the safety car. It is now up to Ruben Volt to dictate the pace of the remaining 20+ cars in this field. Marco Butti, 21st and last, is on the racetrack, so he still has an opportunity. It's becoming a slightly dimmed light, is that championship, but it still burns for Marco Butti. Volt very, very slow now coming through the final corners. When will he choose the opportune moment to hit the loud pedal? There we go. Ruben Volt is away. Jenson Brickley, a very nice restart indeed. Followed through the ALM Motorsport Honda driver Felipe Fernandez, caught napping a little bit in 3rd position. There's a couple of car lengths gap between himself and the 2 race leaders ahead. There is Brickley coming over the start-finish line, following in the wheel tracks of the RC2 Honda ahead. Looks to the inside line. Can he take Clary with him? Fernandez goes defensive. The inside becomes the outside. Has another look. There is Clary as well. Almost 3 wide into T1. Jenson Brickley around the outside. He'll hopefully follow it through his convenient the position as well. Brickley, though, can't find a way past Fernandez. The Clary brothers climbing over the top of each other as well. Janui Park involved in that one. Great battling at the head of the pack. Ruben Volt has the advantage over Eric Genet. So it's advantage to 27. Great restart for Ruben Volt. To the inside goes Park. Can't find room, can't find space. Teddy holds on for now. Teddy Clary in 6th. Brother Jimmy up there in 5th. There's going to be a little bit of team and brotherly love work going on, I'm sure, in the early stages, as both drivers try to garner as many points as possible for their own championship challenge. They're very, very clear, are Jimmy and Teddy, about this one. They don't care which of them wins as long as Taylor in a little bit of stride further back. There is the number 17 PMA Motorsports car. Just being overtaken by Felipe Barberi. Barberi, though, almost immediately gives that one back away again, and Taylor can counter-attack. At the head of the pack, Ruben Volt crosses the next sector line and has got a comfortable gap at this moment in time over the chasing pack led by Eric Genet. Felipe Fernandez doing a sterling job holding on to the bottom step of the provisional podium for now. But Jenson Brickley, he knows his goal: move forward, score points, or as things stand, minimise the points loss to teammate Genet. Jenson Brickley, though, unfortunately for him, seems to be on more of a defensive posture than attacking stance at this moment in time, as Jimmy Claret, just a couple of car lengths further back, keeps a watching breath. Over the line we go then, 13.5 minutes still to go. It is very much advantage Ruben Volt at the head of the pack. Genuine Park having a long defensive drag from Victor Anderson. The MAGP Lincoln Co. tries the inside line. Can't find enough real estate in which to insert himself. Has a look to the outside. Well, at the back, Max Hart shows how it's done to the inside of Genuine Park, taking that position away. Good stuff from Max. In fact, sorry, it's Jun Sung that Max has overtaken. Genui is the one that is, of course, defending from Victor Anderson. This is interesting, folks. Take a look at this one. Felipe Fernandez. What did he have for breakfast, or dinner as it is now? He's climbing over the back of Eric Genet, so Felipe Fernandez looks very quick indeed. Johnson Park trying to find a way past Max Hart. Just the top of your shot. Can't quite get it done on this occasion. Has another little look to the outside. No opportunity there. The young Irishman covering the inside line very nicely indeed. A little bit further back, there is Marco Butti. And there is your answer. Car is good. To the inside of Nick Taylor goes Butti. Moves up into 17th position. Taylor trying to immediately counter-attack. The Canadian driver struggling with 40 kilos of weight on board his Audi at this moment in time. Can't get the car in the right setup window, said Nick Taylor. And you can tell by 18th position, not where he wants to be. Felipe Fernandez wants to be on the inside of Eric Genet. But Eric, not particularly keen on that proposition. Keeps the door well and truly closed. Felipe, though, showing great pace at the early stage of this race, isn't he? Qualified in P2. Had a fabulous qualification session. And now, in terms of race pace, Spanish driver on home soil is very competitive indeed. He's absolutely keeping Eric Genet on his tippy toes, and this is crucial for Eric. Remember, points make prizes in motorsport, and 25 points is what you get for second, 22 is what you get for third, and that could be the difference maker at the end of the season. Look how defensive Genet goes. Gets back onto the racing line nice and early. Fernandez doesn't have enough of an overlap nor a run to launch the car down the inside. A very fair driver is Felipe. He's not going to go for a toss a grade in and see what happens kind of manoeuvre. As Nick Taylor heads down pit lane, and unfortunately for him, looks like an early bath here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. But take a look at this one. Take a look at Felipe Fernandez. This is brilliant stuff from the RC2 driver. Fernandez, the 40-year-old Spaniard, looking for another strong result in TCR Europe. It's been incredible to see the progression of Felipe over the course of this season, really showing to be a formidable competitor. And Eric Genet needs that like nothing. He's been clawed over the back of by the Honda, and this is bringing Jenson Brickley into play now. This is bringing Jimmy Claret and Teddy Claret and Genuine Park, and frankly, the rest of the grid into this fight. And this is absolutely polar opposite of what Eric Genet needs at this stage in the motor race. The pressure will be ramping up on the Spanish driver. He's very vulnerable. Flash of the lights from Felipe Fernandez. Outside line is the only opportunity available, but Felipe doesn't quite have the overlap. It's a good job to keep the rear quarter panel in sight. And there is Jenson Brickley as well. Can the British driver buy into this one? Contact. Fernandez and Genet. Contact between the two of them. Eric Genet does marvellous to keep hold of the car. He's going to go all the way around the gravel. There is Felipe under pressure now. Claret has the inside line. Claret has the position. That's a great move there as well. Opportunistic overtaking manoeuvre by Jimmy Claret. He moves up in a third place. Jenson Brickley moves up into second position, And all of the maths that you've done for the latest championship positions, throw them away. Everything changes. Eric Genet now down in 14th. There's Teddy Claret to the inside. Felipe Fernandez leaves the door wide open. You don't need to invite Teddy twice to make an overtaking manoeuvre. And wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. There we go. The inside line, vulnerable on the outside line, but he gets it done and dusted. Great stuff then for the two Claret Sport drivers. Just a little bit back, further back. Johnson Park now trying to have a nibble on to the back of Felipe Fernandez. Johnson Park brings with him to the party Victor Anderson as well. That's been a sterling start, hasn't it, for Victor? 12th position in qualification, all the way up there in 7th. That car, that driver, that combination have been promising big results for a long time. It would be very nice indeed if they could see that through to the checkered flag and get some reward for the hard work the family-run team undertake. There is Felipe Fernandez again, having a little nubble on the back of Teddy Claret's car. Can't quite find a way past, though. Teddy and Jimmy, this would have been more than they could have possibly dreamt of at the conclusion of qualification. 3rd and 4th position, and ahead, crucially, of championship rival Eric Genet down there in 14th. Hopefully for Eric's case, there's not going to be any damage on that car and he can try and recover some of those lost places. The field is incredibly tightly compacted, so there is still opportunity. In fact, as I made that statement, Giacomo Gamande becomes the first victim of Eric Genet. Eric now up into 13th position. Marco Butti, by the way, making moves as well. He snuck himself up in a 15th place. Who'd have thought that one at the start of the race? One car separates our top two in the championship. British in 13th and 15th places, respectively. Very, very unusual stuff here in Barcelona. As we see across the line we go. Ruben Volt has, well, you can measure it with the calendar, really, can't you, rather than the stopwatch. 4.5 seconds is the number 27 advantage at the front of the pack. Jenson Brickley being the lead of the chasing group behind, followed by Jimmy and then Teddy Claret. Lights ablaze from Jimmy. That's the universal sign for I'm coming, get ready for a fight. Gabriele Corvini having a great battle as well. He was delighted, was Corvini, when I spoke to him. Lovely young man, the BRC racing driver. Absolutely delighted with his qualification performance. Almost disappointed to not get the reverse grid pole position, but Corvini doing sterling work as well. Up there in 11th place so far, and very much in the heat of the battle. Right then, quick points update after the latest instance. It would be Jenson Brickley that would be the championship leader on 188, with Teddy Claret on 183 and Eric Genet on 174. Told you things had changed, didn't I? Jimmy Claret would have 173 points and be the 4th in the standings, and Marco Butti would have 170 as things stand and be 5th in the championship standings. 18 points covering the top 5 as things stand. But don't worry, this 6 minutes and 40 seconds, things won't stand like that for much longer, I'm absolutely sure. And I think Felipe Fernandez is the fly in the ointment, isn't he, at this moment in time. There we go to the inside. It's a little bit far back for Felipe. Thankfully, he elects to dive out of that one and stay just behind Teddy Claret. But that's big pressure on the French driver. And Teddy, he doesn't need this one. What he wants at this moment in time is no defensive problems behind, so he can climb onto the back of his brother ahead and see what they can do about Jenson Brickley up there in 2nd place. Unfortunately, though, what you want and what you get aren't always the same thing. And for Teddy Claret, he's got a race on his hands indeed. Felipe Fernandez, beautiful drive this from Felipe. A little bit of a flash of the lights in the final corner, just to warn the car ahead that I'm looking for an overtake, says Felipe Fernandez. Thinks better of it, while at the back of your shot, there's Max Hart just behind him, just showing his nose, is the Lincoln Co. MAGP machine of Victor Anderson. Anderson can't quite do anything about it, drops down into 8th position, so Max up to 7th, showing a good turn of pace in the Hyundai Elantra TCR. Been a good recovery drive this for Max Hart, hasn't it? Started down in 13th place, almost got caught up in the start line incident, but avoided it very well indeed. And now a good reward is coming his way, well inside the top 10, although Victor Anderson didn't like that 8th position and quite fancies taking the 7th place back, please. A little bit of a rat-a-tat-tat on the rear bumper, bit of battle damage for Max Hart, but this is touring cars. If all your panels are straight when you come back in, you've not been doing it properly. Great stuff this from Victor Anderson at the moment. The turning on the Lincoln Coast seems just a little bit sharper on the front end, doesn't it, through that section of corners. Just seems like it's a little bit more willing to get the car to the apex max, maybe. Struggling slightly with balance, struggling slightly with tyre life as well. The talk of the town over the course of the weekend is tyre drop-off and how to manage that one in racing conditions. Those who manage it the best will be the ones in the biggest advantageous position possible. But again, management's great in practice and testing, isn't it? When you get to racing conditions, it's an entirely different proposition indeed. And several of these drivers, Jenson Brickley being a prime candidate for that one in second, have no such luxuries. There's no management going on here whatsoever, apart from managing the opportunities that may or may not present themselves to Jimmy Claret behind. So far, it's been a fabulous start to the race for the Claret Sport team. And they're doing a very good job indeed at this moment in time. This is a bit of a kicker. Contact in T12 involving cars 12 and 8. Oh, sorry, that's a different sign that's come up. It's looking like a 10-second penalty for Felipe Fernandez for contact earlier on. So Felipe is going to be out of the picture as Julien Brichet is out of Eric Genet's picture. The Montlau Motorsport Cooper to the inside. A little bit reluctant on the brakes for Eric there, actually. Julien is going to get the overlap. And there's Marco Butti taking to the escape road. Don't worry, it's not a shortcut. He'll rejoin there and join that fight as well. So it's not over. Not over for Marco Butti. It's not over at all. 14th and 15th for Butti and Genet. There's our title protagonist. There are our championship leaders side by side for 14th and 15th position. And a little bit of contact between them as well. Eric Genet just catching the rear quarter of Marco Butti's Honda Civic. Butti is through and into 14th position. 2 points for him, 1 point for Eric. Not quite where either driver expected to be fighting at the start of this weekend, but that is exactly where they are, and that is exactly what they're having to deal with. Meanwhile, Ruben Volt is that far ahead. He's actually into the 2026 season. It seems at this moment in time, 5.2 seconds now is the advantage for the ALM Motorsport Honda Civic driver. He knew he was quick. He was filled full of confidence. Well, confidence he has most certainly got indeed. To the inside goes Corvini in a defensive stance. 11th position, René Kirscher. Not seen much from René this weekend, actually, have we? It was good in qualification. Back in TCR Europe again, having joined ALM Motorsports for the previous round. They're currently in 11th and 12th positions. There's the fight between Claret and Fernandez continuing. Good bit of driving this from Jimmy Claret and Teddy Claret in 3rd and 4th positions, respectively. Right then, 2 minutes has hit the clock. The countdown begins now, the final 2 minutes of this race. Ruben Volt from Jenson Brickley, Jimmy and Teddy Claret are your 1, 2, 3 and 4. Felipe Fernandez that we're having a look at now. He had a great start to the race, didn't he? Showed some good defensive chops early on. But now he's very, very much on the attacking stance just ahead. Teddy Claret would so dearly like to hold on to this one. 10-second time penalty, of course, coming the way of Felipe Fernandez at the close of this one. So yes, he's squabbling, but unfortunately for Felipe, that's not really going to amount to a great deal. Just don't make contact. Don't make contact. Don't do anything silly in these things. Felipe Fernandez doing a good job so far. So here we go then. 1 minute and 4 seconds left on the clock. Still plenty of racing to go. Still Ruben Volt has the advantage. 5.2 seconds now is the lead over Jenson Brickley. Jenson under a little bit of pressure from Jimmy Claret. Is that management? Is that pace deficit to the car behind? Dare say we'll find out over the course of this next lap or so. But Jenson Brickley definitely doesn't look as comfortable, does he? As he did early in the race. Last time around, 1 minute 52.3. About 1.1 seconds away from his ultimate pace, so not too bad a tyre drop-off, slightly quicker than the cars around, but of course Jenson is very much dictating the pace, courtesy of track position. Felipe Fernandez is very much, Filippo Barberi is off, the Icoa Racing driver from 20th position. I'm not quite sure what part of the racetrack that one is at, but Filippo Barberi is out of this motor race. Where was he on the timing screens at the time? 20th place, so Difficult weekend, unfortunately, for the likeable Italian continues. Now I'm having a quick look on my timing screen to see whereabouts that car is stationary. Hopefully it's far enough out of the way that we don't need to worry ourselves too much about a safety car intervention at the very death of this one. The clock has hit 0, by the way. We're on our final tour, and safety car has been called. That's a shame. Safety car has been called, so this one will end on a safety car conditions. Felipe Fernandez has a little bit of a dive to the inside. I'm sure he's aware that he's got a 10-second penalty, and it's not a good call. And there we go. Safety car is called. The race will end on a safety car conditions. It will be a Ruben Volt benefit. He took pole position. Chock-a-block full of confidence is Ruben Volt. He always is anyway, to be fair. Very, very, very young and talented driver. And that confidence most certainly was not misplaced. It's been a dominant performance, hasn't it, to round out the first race of the final weekend of the 2025 racing season. Filippo Barberi looking disappointed, I think he'll be. It's been a difficult weekend all round, hasn't it, for the ICOA racing squad and for Filippo as well. I'm sure he'll learn from it, though. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, as they say, and sometimes you learn a lot more in difficult times than you do in times of success. But here we go. We pick up our race leader then for what should be, I believe, the final lap of this motor race. Under safety car conditions, of course, so the running order, barring dramas, will be exactly as you see on screen. I'm hearing that Marco Butti has actually given the place back, or should have to give the place back, to Eric Genet. And I'm also hearing that Janui Park has a time penalty as well in 6th position. So changes will be happening at the conclusion of this one. Time penalty for Janui. It's a real shame, actually. That's been a bit of an under-the-radar drive, hasn't it, from Janui Park and the Solnight Indigo racing car. Done a really strong job. It's been a great weekend, actually. A brand new car for Janui this weekend, having written off the last one, the Red Bull Ring. First time out on the racetrack was in free practice 1 with that newer vehicle, but Janui Park doing good stuff. 6th place on track as things stand, but expect him to drop when the final classification. And this is the final lap, by the way. Safety car have picked the field up, so we will circulate at a safe pace, take the checkered flag, and then we'll try and understand exactly who finished where after all of the altercations, changes, dramas, controversies and excitements that we've enjoyed over the course of this motor race. So it's a shame, isn't it, when it finishes under safety car conditions, but in the short amount of time that we did go racing, folks, I think we crammed in quite a bit of action, didn't we? Despite the red flag at the start of the race, despite the safety car at the conclusion, there's been quite a fair share of drama. I think when we do the highlights video for this one, might as well just play the whole thing. There's not really anything you can chop out, is there? It's been a lot of absolutely fabulous race. Big shout out, by the way, for Julian Brichet up there in 12th position as well. It's been a really difficult weekend for Julian. Often we've seen him underneath the car with the spanners in hand rather than looking at the telemetry. And Julian, nice reward there, 12th place. Good recovery drive for him. Started all the way at the back of the field. Of course, he's been helped by the retirements in front of him and all the shenanigans that we've seen on our screens. But a solid drive there from Julian Brichet. I'm sure that confidence boost will help pick him up for what should be another difficult race tomorrow. 19 cars still in this race. Gary Kwok being the final of those that are out on the racetrack in 19th and last position. It's good to have Gary Kwok here, of course, as part of ALM Motorsports, the third car for ALM, alongside our soon-to-be race winner, Ruben Volt, and Rennie Kirscher, very experienced over in the States, driving this car, but more in endurance and sports car events. It's good to have him back. It's good to have him here, should I say, in TCR Europe, as he's learning and enjoying his time in the paddock and picking up more and more experience behind the wheel in a sprint format in the Honda Civic. They do well to have a look at the data of Ruben Volt, because that is one rapid young man, is Ruben, and I think it's fair to say he's been nigh on inch perfect as Ruben Volt, hasn't he? At the head of the pack. Really, really good performance. Survived the start, survived the restart, avoided all of the excitements, and away we go. Right then, I'm hearing in my ears that we won't be interviewing our race winner at the end of this one, courtesy of the long delay for the safety car. There's a lot of motor racing to happen here in Barcelona, so we need to be clear and out of the way as quickly as possible, just like that safety car is clear and out of the way, to give our drivers the opportunity to head to the line and take the checkered flag. So there we go. The checkered flag waves on round 6, race 1 of TCR Europe, and it is all about Ruben Volt. Jenson Brickley crosses the line in 2nd place, Jimmy Claret in 3rd. Teddy Claret finishes in 4th position. Felipe Fernandez crosses the line in 5th, but expect that time to drop all the way to the bottom, courtesy of his time penalty. Same for Janui Park as well. He has a plus 5 seconds for track limit violations, so that's going to promote several drivers up the running order, not least of whom is Victor Anderson, Max Hart, Nico Baldan, and Johnson Park as well. Well, that was quite the cracker. It was not exactly how the textbook was written. Well, it was dramatic nonetheless, though, wasn't it? And it was all about Ruben Volt. It's been one of those seasons for Ruben. It's been, I said feast or famine already. I've used that one for his starts. I think, to be honest, you can probably level that accusation at his races as well. It is either fabulous performance that ends in a victory, such as today, or difficulty, misfortune, and bad luck. And that's been the story of Ruben Volt's season. Reigning teams champion, ALM Motorsports, of course. Ruben Volt, multiple race winner in TCR Europe. One of our most successful drivers, actually, in TCR Europe is Ruben Volt. 5 race victories to his name coming into this weekend. Chuck that up to 6 now, joining Julien Brichet as the most successful driver in the field. And the man is only in his 20s. How crazy is that one? We were speaking about this with several people in the paddock, how touring car always used to be a bit of a more experienced driver's game. It's very much the young are in the ascendancy. Right then, let's have a look at the provisional results from race 1. Ruben Volt, Jenson Brickley, Jimmy Claret are your top 3. Teddy Claret is in 4th ahead of Felipe Fernandez. Janui Park is classified in 6th ahead of Victor Anderson and Max Hart. Nico Baldan is 9th across the line. Johnson Park in 10th position. Gabriele Corvini stayed out of trouble and finished in 11th, just ahead of Julien Brichet. Rennie Kershaw, 13th of the line, ahead of the warring duo of Eric Genet and Marco Butti. Came into this one as championship leaders, come out of this one with a very small haul of points indeed. Giacomo Gamandi in 16th ahead of Sandro Pilate. Jacopo Prandelli in 18th on debut. Gary Kwok is the last of our classified finishers. Filippo Barberi apparently is missing. And Nicholas Taylor, Victor Fernandez, Sam Laidlaw, Rafael Fournier, Stephen Laidlaw and Jacobo Jimenez do not make the checkered flag. In terms of the youth classification, Ruben Volt takes a youth trophy victory from Jenson Brickley with Janui Park in 3rd. In terms of Diamond Trophy, it is a victory for Giacomo Gamandi, 16th across the line, 1st in Diamond Trophy, just ahead of fellow Italian Sandro Pilate. And I'll be delighted, will Giacomo Gamandi, I am absolutely certain, loves his motor racing, does Jack, absolutely adores being in TCR Europe and TCR cars, and a Diamond Trophy victory, I am sure, will make that experience all the sweeter indeed. Well, well, well. I have some advice, people at home, for you good people, because there will be penalties coming. And my advice to you would be, check out TCR Series and TCR Europe on social media for all the finalised results, the different championship permutations, who finishes where and whatnot as well. Because across the line isn't necessarily going to be the same result in the classification. One thing, though, that it goes without question is Ruben Volt. What a race victory for car number 27. He's a very straightforward young man. What you see is what you get with Ruben Volt, the 19-year-old Estonian. Lovely dry sense of humour, very friendly, scarily fast in a TCR touring car. I think you've just seen the very best of what he's capable of there. He also likes to sleep. Don't we all? Brilliant stuff from Ruben Volt. Absolutely commanding performance from that young man. And there we go. Straight away, hugs for the ALM Motorsport team. It will be very, very well received, this victory. Martin Lauer is not here, the normal representative for ALM Motorsports. It's the Nürburgring. They've got a bit of a race going on over there, and they're taking their car with it. I suppose you've heard of it, the Nordschleife. It's a big endurance thing. So he's over there on duty there. So he's left his young charge to his own devices, and I think it worked out quite well indeed. Absolutely incredible, incredible stuff. And there is our race winner, Ruben Volt. A little bit of rest and relaxation will be coming his way, I am sure.
Talk us through your race.
I mean, the only concerning part was the race start. That went good. Then it was the safety car restart. But after that, I pushed for 2 laps. I saw a 2-second gap. Saved tires from there on out. And nobody even decided to catch me. So, I don't know. I didn't know the pace difference was that big.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations indeed. A really strong performance for Ruben Volt. Just having a look at the championship standings, provisional driver standings based on calculated penalty applications. So this is very, very provisional. But it does look like Jensen Brickley is the championship leader at the end of this one. Provisionally, again, from Teddy Claret, 188 versus 183 points. And Eric Genet in third of the standings on 176. Jimmy Claret in fourth on 173. And Marco Butti in fifth on 172. We'll come back to that one in more detail. But let's take a look at some highlights from the race that we have just enjoyed. At the start of the race then, there was a lot of tension on the grid. Big dramas at the head of the pack. It was a stall for Jacobo Chimenez, and unfortunately Victor Fernandez, Rafael Fournier, Steve and Sam Laidlaw all involved in that one. That led to the first race red flag of the day. Damage for championship protagonist Marco Butti. They had opportunity to repair that one in pit lane. Marco would get back out on the racetrack, but all eyes at the head of the pack. While Ruben Volt runs away with things, it would be Felipe Fernandez showing a defensive masterclass. That defensive drive, though, did turn a little bit ugly earlier on. Contact between himself and Eric Genet put Eric Genet into the gravel and down the running order. Fernandez would hemorrhage positions from there on in. While all that was happening, though, at the head of the pack, Ruben Volt was very comfortable indeed. Plenty of squabbles, plenty of dramas mid-pack. Filippo Barberi said goodbye nice and early at the end of the race. There are your highlights. That's your motor race. We'll see you again tomorrow at 7:45 UTC. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous stuff there out on the racetrack. The podium will be taking place in a few moments' time. I actually thought we were going to be leaving before that happened, but thankfully we are back on again. So the podium will be happening in a few moments' time. And I think each and every one of the drivers on said podium will feel very well rewarded indeed. Right then, let's have a look at our 3 finishers here at the head of the pack. It'll be a few moments until they get up there. They've already spoken to Neil. They've already dried themselves down, had a glass of water, I'm absolutely sure, and then will come in time-honoured fashion to receive trophies, spray champagne, and celebrate amongst themselves. In fact, the podium is starting right here and right now. And there is a very, very happy Jimmy Claret indeed. He was worried about the pace for the race. Bottom step of the podium is absolutely superb. Jensen Brickley, another driver that will be more than happy with his day's work from 4th on the grid to 2nd in the race and the lead of the Drivers' Championship. And then Ruben Volt, what could have been in 2025 for Ruben Volt? A fabulous race victory for the young Estonian driver, for the Estonian team ALM Motorsports as well. Consummate performance from both of them. Here we go. Handshakes all around for our top 3 drivers, and they all deserve it as well. It's been great performance from all. Ruben. Ruben dictating where everybody stands, a national anthem. There we go, Estonian national anthem then for Ruben Volt and ALM Motorsports as race victors here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. For good measure as well, of course, he takes the youth trophy as well for drivers 21 under at the start of FP1 at the beginning of the season, all the way back in April at Portimão. That will put Ruben Volt in a very nice position in the youth trophy standings as well. Here we go, Gabriel Alonso onto the podium to hand out the first of our trophies from TCR Europe. Goes to third place. Man, that's a big cheer, isn't it, for Jimmy Clary? Fabulous performance from the French driver. That's kept his title hopes well and truly alive coming into the final race tomorrow morning. In second position, Jenson Brickley is about to receive his trophy. And the trophy has been awarded to Jenson by Jose Luis Santamaria, Director General of the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. Jenson very pleased with that one as well, I am absolutely sure. Then the first place trophy will go the way of our race winner, Ruben Volt, Sergei Bruguera, of course, twice Roland Garros champion, ranked number 3 in the world as well at one point in tennis. Fantastic to see him. Ruben Fernandez giving out the team's trophy, promoter of TCR Europe for ALM Motorsports. They'll have very much enjoyed that one as well. And it's been some fabulous, fabulous racing. Very, very, very well deserved for all of our podium finishers. And there's Giacomo Gamandi, winner of the Diamond Trophy. And that will be a very nice party indeed for Gamandi, I'm sure. Great victory, very, very well done indeed for the Diamond Trophy driver. 16th overall, first in classification. And again, Sergei Bruguera gives the trophy to Jack. Always laughing, always happy, a real character in the paddock. Wonderful to have him back in TCR Europe once again. Fabulous stuff then. Here comes Ruben Fernandez once again. And there is the Diamond Trophy victory, #1 for Jack Gamandi. He's won outright in TCR Eastern Europe back in April at the Red Bull Ring. And he's won his class in TCR Europe this weekend as well. Still one more race to go, of course. We're back in action again on Saturday morning, 9:45 local time. That translates to 8:45 UK, 7:45 UTC. Make sure you catch all the action. Make sure you catch all of the drama. It's been a very entertaining first race of the weekend. We'll do it all again tomorrow. From myself, Paul Jeffrey, from Neil Cole on pit lane, and the TCR Europe team behind the scenes. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you all again when we do it tomorrow. Thanks very much. Take care and goodbye.